Hello, you guys, and welcome to another episode of Real Talk in Depth. We thank you guys for joining us. So, today we will be doing part one of a topic we call Put It All on the Table. All right, y'all ready?
Ready.
All right, let's get into it.
So I'll kind of get this started off. My topic I want to start off with is stress. And we'll be kind of going through talking about how certain things will affect you. So my thing is we're going to start with stress. Now, most of us get stressed out about situations or circumstances or people that kind of throw things our way really quickly, or we allow people to, we'll be doing one thing, you allow another person to kind of intervene or put their thoughts or their actions into what you're doing, which causes a lot of stress. We do have other things, financial stress, emotional stress, physical stress. All of this can take a toll on your body. But my thing is, I always say, kind of eliminate or let things exit that shouldn't be there. So I have this, and I know it hadn't been, it's just recently that I kind of started doing it, because I easily would let people kind of throw my day off really quickly. And it still happens, but I'm getting better with it. But you have to sometimes just say no. When you say no to people or either to a thing, if it's not in your daily plan or your daily activity or on your schedule, you have to kind of say no, not today. And it's okay to say no sometimes. And I do know that emergencies will happen. I do know there are some things that will go beyond your control. But if it's just someone that is inconveniencing you to convenience themselves, it's okay to say no. Pick it up tomorrow. I can't do it right now. We'll try to do this tomorrow, or either at another time. Don't try to frustrate yourself or let the stress level get too high that it can cause some really issues, some really bad health issues in your life. So my thing is, eliminate the stress out of your life by sometimes just saying no, or just saying not now. So what I'm going to do, eliminate the stress.
Okay, so my topic that I have is frustration. And right now I'm a little bit frustrated, but it's okay. We're going to keep it moving. So I know all of us at some point have been frustrated in our lives. We've experienced things that have frustrated us, people that have frustrated us, our jobs can frustrate us. I mean, any little thing can frustrate you, but we have to have enough control and enough of letting go of some stuff where we can't let it get to the point where it frustrates us and it just take control of our day, and now your whole day is ruined because a certain person did this certain thing, and now you have given that person power over your day and your life by frustrating you.
Exactly.
And now because you're frustrated, you can sometimes take it out on other people, and now you're messing up these people's day because somebody else messed up your day. And I know it has been many times where I have been frustrated. School can frustrate people. Any little thing can frustrate you if it's not going according to your plan or how you expected it to go. And frustration is a big thing. All of us experience it and all of us go through it. But we have to get to the point where just because something is not going how we planned, we don't let that take control of our thinking or how we go about doing the next thing or the next step. And I can tell you, just last week, I was at work and something wasn't going how I expected it to. And I got frustrated. And it's like that just ruined my whole day. And I'm not going to say my work ethic changed, but how I was thinking about going about doing my work, it changed because this started my day off wrong. And that was wrong with me, by letting something upset me or frustrate me and me taking it on to the task that I was doing. And we have to learn how to compartmentalize. We can't take what we're going through and throw that into other things outside of what caused you to be frustrated. Does that make sense?
It does.
So, y'all, we gotta let that frustration go.
So I'm gonna go back with one of my another topic that I have: bitterness. Whew. I don't hold bitterness, I would say, in my heart toward a lot of people. I'm really kind of away from it, but I do have one situation that I am talking to God about, and God knows, and I know He will release this from me. But my question is, did I totally give it to Him? I'm holding a little bitterness toward a situation, I would say, and it's not easy to let go. And I don't have any anger toward any persons or people. But if you come at me in a wrong way, or if you hurt someone that's close to me, then I have an issue with that. So I do say, and I chose this bitterness because I am holding bitterness toward one situation. And I know I need to let it go. I know I'm guilty. I know I'm wrong. And I do anticipate on letting it go. I'm holding it too much, and my family know I'm holding it, and they know why I'm holding it. But it's kind of hard because someone hurt someone that's really close to me, and it was unfair. And I am holding this building. I know I'm repeating myself because I know I'm wrong. That's the first thing. When you know you're wrong, you know you're wrong within yourself. You don't need anybody else to tell you that you're wrong about it. So I do know I'm wrong about holding it. But if it's not the time for me to release it, because if I release it, I'm gonna release it wrongly. So I have to, in timing, I'm trying to do this in my own timing to let it go. And sometimes I have to. I'm working on it. Just know I'm working on it. So that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna be true about it, that I'm working on it. I do hold this bitterness in my heart toward a certain thing, and I'm working on letting this bitterness go. So I'm gonna let it go.
I can kind of understand where you're coming from, and I wouldn't say that I harbor or there's bitterness in my heart, but I'm that type. I try my best not to do people wrong, and I have a strong dislike when people purposefully do people wrong. And it's just something that it's hard to get over that. I can be cordial with those people, but me, I'm that type. If I ain't feeling you, I ain't gonna front like I feel you. And I mean, it's not, I don't believe in faking it with people. I mean, I can be cordial and I can be respectful, but I'm not gonna sit here and fake and front in your face like I'm okay with what you did, and I'm not. So I really want to say that there's bitterness, but when you purposefully do something wrong to a person, I just can't let that go like that. I mean, to me, it's like you showed me who you really are.
Exactly.
So I'm aware of who you are, and I'm going to handle that situation appropriately.
And see, and I think that's my issue. And it's like the frustration of my bitterness is coming out a little bit now, because the situation, and I can't go into depth of it, they came to me and asked for my help. So you came to me, you asked for my help, and it's like you stabbed me in my back behind it. After you asked me for my help, and I labored deeply in helping you in the situation, but yet it was a help to me as well. And later on in another episode of Something Different, we'll kind of elaborate and talk on it. But it does bring a level of frustration to me to talk about it. And I guess it is sort of go back into your frustration, yet bitterness. And that's this issue is. So, I mean, I'm working on it. Just know I'm working on letting it go. And that's all I got to say about that situation.
Hey, and my next one is anger. Certain situations really can cause you to be angry, and it can just hit somewhere deep in your soul where you just feel like you just can't let it go, and it stir up some stuff, and it causes you to be angry. And I know all of us at some point in our lives have experienced anger. Some of us this morning, some last week, some 10 years ago. But it's certain things that stir up certain things in you, and it causes you to really be angry. And some people forget angry, they just be pissed off. It's just like that, you pissed off. And I guess that's us, we too have to learn some control where we don't let other people or other things get us to that point. but it's certain situations that are very delicate, and those situations, those people, or whatever it is, it can hit you in a certain way that you really don't know if you can come back from. And I guess for me, the people that really make me angry are the people that are closest to me. People that are distant from me, you can say what you want to say, you can do what you want to do to me, but don't come for my people though. Like that's something different. But what you do and what you say don't really just bother me like that. But when the people I love or the people I'm close to do something that just hit that point, those are the people or the things that make me angry. The things that are closest and dear to me, the things that I cherish, or that I really feel something for. That's the stuff that make me angry.
And that's it. We all get like that, and I guess I don't know why all this. I'm going back to this bitterness situation, frustration.
It all go hand in hand. It might be different for other people, but for some people, all this stuff go hand in hand.
Exactly. And you do, and we really do have to let it go. But like she said, it's always, if you mess with my folks, I'm just being real, you mess with my family or my kids, I don't have a problem with anybody else. I think we like that. And I know we have a heart. Our heart is so kind and so dear that we would give our last to anyone. And for people to come back and, mistreat you or stab you in your back, she said she can't fake them. She really, Jakari has this facial where, she show it. Me, I would at least speak to you and I would keep moving. But Jakari, her face.
I would speak, but
her face would show it all.
I just, and it's not that I do it on purpose. It's just, I know my heart.
Don't fake what.
And I know I am very nice to people. I try my best to be very nice to people, but don't cross me, because when you cross me, then I cannot pull something from within me that's not within me.
And what gets me, you cross people at the level of the fact that they had nothing to do with it. Most of the time, you go out and, like you saying, you have had people to kind of misuse and mistreat you or dislike you because of another person. I'm like, how silly can that be? You hadn't done anything or you hadn't wronged anyone, but yet they want to mistreat you because of what someone else said that they hadn't personally experienced with you, and they don't like you for that reason. My auntie had this thing further on down the road, because I am so really, I told you when I say I'm beyond people, I am. But I have a heart. My thing is, I have a heart for children, and I have a heart for older people and people who are disabled or some type of disability. Don't mistreat them. If they have not harmed you or have not wronged you, don't mistreat them for any reason. That's just my heart. Kids, older people, and for the disabled.
Don't mistreat people in general, but it's like those people just, when people do something to those people, it does something to me.
Deep down, it just shows on your face.
I honestly, I really have a strong dislike for people to mistreat people, and I have said this on many episodes. I don't like for people to mistreat people.
That's it.
Treat everybody honestly how you want to be treated. And if you don't want to be treated good, then you just don't deal with people at all.
Walk away.
Exactly. But yeah, this stuff is stirring up a little.
Anything you want to say, Shayla?
I'm here for support this week.
Okay, so Shayla says she's here for support.
Let me put this anger on in here.
Okay, so my next topic is something self-sufficient. I know everybody have this thing with me, and if you really know me, I am self-sufficient, and I always say a big part of my self-sufficiency is I blame it on my dad. I really do. I always say that it ain't his fault.
I blame mine.
Yeah, it ain't his fault, but he taught me. I had kids out of wedlock, and I was a single mom when I had my first two children. And my dad, he taught me things about changing my oil, changing my tire, draining this, draining that, how to check this out, and how to go out and make your own money. He did, even though my dad, he was was a provider, but he kind of taught me a level of independency, I would say, not to always depend on anyone, not to wait. And I guess it's a good thing, but yet a bad thing in a way, because he taught me don't wait for someone else to provide for you. Go do it yourself. So I guess my self-sufficiency has always been I'm a go-getter. So if I call you and I ask you to do something for me and I go back to sometimes it's wrong and you take too long, I'm gonna go and try to figure it out myself. You know, if I had a flat tire, I'm gonna drive that tire until I look and see the rim ain't gonna bend. If I call you and I'm gonna get to the service station, to the gas station, I'm gonna put some air in it myself. And there have been times where it has been that I do things that I think a man should be doing with certain situations, but they're asked for my help, but I'm so sufficient on doing it myself, self-sufficient, that I don't allow anyone to help. And that goes back to too, a closed mouth would not get fed. But it goes into the dependency, and I guess my baby said I spread it to them. I taught them to kind of be dependent on themselves and on me. Don't go ask anybody else for anything. You know, go out there and try to do it yourself. And I know you can look at it so many ways. It can be a faith transaction. It can be a self-sufficient transaction. It could be, my husband used to always say, you know, your sister she'll tell my sister she just won't bend. Because if I ask him to do something, I'm so determined to just get it done. When I want it done, he take too long, I go do it myself. I want my car washed. Okay, well, I'm gonna wash it tomorrow, but it's dirty today. So I don't want to ride no dirty car. So what I'm gonna do? Tasha gonna go out there and pull out the water hose, pull out her bucket, and wash her car. So when he come back, he was like, "Why you wash the car?" Cause it was dirty. So it's not like I don't have a problem with doing things, but some things that should be done by you or by them. But I mean, I'm gonna go out there and try to do it myself. I'm not gonna just hold it back and just hold on to it. I'm just gonna go out there and try to do it. And even though with this day and age, my self-sufficiency has also carried over into even my children adulthood. I mean, I kind of spread it over to teaching them to kind of be self-sufficient in some areas, and other times they have learned this on themselves or learned this for themselves. But you know, it's not always good to be totally self-sufficient, but it is okay to be self-sufficient in some areas and depend on you and don't have to depend on others, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And I guess, like she said, my self-sufficiency kind of came from my parents or whatever, but like I'm so self-sufficient to the point where like I won't ask you for help. No. I'm the type where before I really ask somebody for help, I'm going to go through every avenue and channel of figuring it out on my own before I just go and ask somebody else.
You do.
And sometimes that could be a good thing and sometimes that can be a bad thing. But for me, I like to do things on my own and figure it out for myself. And for some aspect, I look at it as I don't want to be a burden or bother or add any extra load to anybody else. And for certain people, I like to be self-sufficient and do things on my own by not asking anybody else to do something, because everybody doesn't do things for you and not expect something in return. So it's different reasons why I am self-sufficient, but for the most part, I mean, I really try to do everything on my own, and sometimes it cannot be good. For some things, it really can be good. For me, I always tell people I kind of came from like a military style household, because my parents, they were strict. And it was always church, school, home, church, school, home. That just was it. And you did whatever they said do. And back then we looked at it as like we got strict parents and we can't do anything. But now we understand that their rules and the way that they had us doing things, it was to build us and to give us character and values that we really can use in life. And that, I mean, it gives us purpose, and it built us, and it kind of shaped us into who we are today. And that goes back into the self-sufficiency. Like my parents, like I got to make, I say, a few more decisions than my siblings got to make. And it's kind of like they kind of babied my siblings just a little bit more than I would think that they did me. But I too believe that it was because they knew my mentality and they understood that if I did something, I was willing to take on whatever the consequences was behind what I did.
I'm smiling because she said military type school. It was, we did, and I mean, this is what I say. She said military type school, but we knew what we had done previously. As teenagers, my husband and I knew what we had done. So we didn't want them to encounter some of the things. You know, he didn't want them to have the mindset of saying, you look pretty. So when most people say, oh, you look pretty, you fine, it blows the fascination of their mind. So he used to always say, I'm going to already tell y'all look good, y'all fine, y'all look pretty. And so when somebody else tell you that, your mind won't be blown about the situation. But for the protection of my kids, yes, we did say that. We needed to go, and I tell everybody, and it still is what it is, we have this motto, everybody know where everybody go.
Yeah.
And it was for the safety of my children. So they did high school things. They didn't do high school functions, but for all these, sometimes I would say some gatherings, I wouldn't allow some gatherings, because if you came to me and you asked me, well, Mama, I want to go to a certain place, I want to go here Friday night, you already knew you had to have an answer to the question.
You better know the details, because if you don't know the details, you ain't going.
And I don't want to hear it no more, because you already know. I need to know, where is it, who's going to be there. If it's at somebody's house, you already know you ain't going. I mean, it had to be, and it was always for the protection of my kids, but I'm still laughing at her saying it was military type. But it was all, and I'm glad she cleaned it up. But it was also for the protection and for that character. And they took this on to school, so I didn't have this issue to be worried, you know, when they went to college, if something, because in their mind, even if they did college things, in their mind, it would click back in what my mama and what my daddy taught me.
They made you aware of your surroundings and what you need to look for. I mean, it really built some form of structure and discipline and how I carry out myself in life today. But I can honestly say it prepared me for life today. And in this world that we're living in, kids need that structure and that discipline, I can honestly say.
So my self-sufficiency, I don't know if I'm letting it go or holding on to it, but I'm going to put it in there and try to let it go.
Okay. So,
do I want to talk about my next one?
I think we should talk about your next one, because it goes into what we're talking about now.
It's control. So I'm not a control freak. I do like what they call control. I can't say. I like. It's like, and it's not always good, because I like to know the next step before I get to the first step. I really do. I like to know, and it's not good. I like to know the end of the movie before it even starts. I want to know, and it's. I know it's not good. Y'all ain't gotta judge me. Don't judge me. But I know it's not good. But I'm like that. I like to know the next step. It's like I need to know what's gonna happen in the future before I deal with the present. And I know it's not godly. I know it's not faith, but it is my reality. And yet I ain't perfect. He's still working with me, working on me, and working through me. So I do. My kids always say, well, you know, you like to be in control of some situations. Not all of them, but I have an issue with being kind of in control of some stuff. Don't y'all send no message back like, yeah, Tashara, you got a control issue. Because it's not always in certain things. I mean, I'm to the point of, I don't like failure. So I put the failure with the control thing. I don't like failing. So I don't like being on a losing team. We need to make sure that the strategy is there. We need to know if you can't get to B, what you gonna do, how you gonna get there. You know, just don't go out there blindsided. That's the thing is, don't just go out there blindsided. We need to have some structure. We need to make sure it's right, because if you feel like it's a little too, and I know stuff happens and situations happen, but if you feel like you ain't got no structure in this thing, I ain't going with you. I'm just gonna already tell
Don't
you.
want no
I ain't
parts of
going. Yep, I ain't going with you. I'm just like, okay, next, you gonna have to go with that me and this one. So,
And I too have, I'm not as bad as you, but I mean, I too like to have control over the narrative of things that I'm involved in. I'm not gonna say I like to have control over people or over other people's things. Me, if you want to do it your way, that's your stuff. Go on and do what you want to do. But when it comes to me and stuff that I'm involved in, yeah, I can tend to have that little bit of control problem because I mean, like you said, I don't like failure. I want to be on the winning team, and I like strategy and I like structure. That goes back to me. I try to figure everything out and make sure everything is right. And sometimes there could be a stumbling block or a roadblock because you so big on trying to control the whole situation and what happens next till you lose sight of the big picture and you don't really progress because you're trying to take control over everything. So I'm quite sure we're not the only people that have that slight control problem and things that we're involved with.
and I mean, even going back to that, even though we like to kind of know the strategy of things, even if, and we like to win, I mean, we don't like to lose, but even if it does come to a loss, we don't take it bitterly.
Mm-hmm.
We do strategize on how to make it better the next time. So don't say they control freaks.
We're not sore losers.
Yeah, and we'll just strategize on how we can make it better. And I mean, everybody has some type of failure or I would say control. We go back to control issue. But my thing is, if we can't handle it or you don't win or it's not your winning season and they're controlling, just strategize on how to make it better the next time. So,
and it's not that we don't want other people to win, because hey, for me, I want everybody to win. But when it comes to certain things, I mean, like sports, I mean, hey, somebody gotta lose. I just don't want it to be my
I
team.
was just gonna say, don't want to be my team.
But I mean, honestly, in life, we really do want everybody to win and everybody to succeed, just to establish that point.
I was just saying on them grounds. I mean, we do it. Y'all have heard us saying these in previous videos. I mean, we ain't gonna leave nobody behind. Even our, competitors. I mean, we big on support and we big on wanting everybody to make it and to everybody to win. But it's just that's a personal thing with us in control. We don't like to lose, so I'm gonna work on that. Okay, I'm gonna put it in there, but I'm still working on it.
All right, so my next thing was coping mechanisms. We go through all this stuff we just named, and some of us don't really always deal with whatever the problem is. We take on other things to kind of put off the problem, which is like considered a coping mechanism. We deal with things in a certain way to not really deal with the issue. And I know for me, some coping mechanisms for me is music. I would get very silent. And if I don't want to deal with something, I mean, I just distance myself from the thing versus dealing with it. And that's not always good. But for me, I distance myself from that thing because if you push me too far, I don't know really how I'm going to react, or I know my reaction to that thing is not going to be the best thing for you or the best thing for me. So me, I get silent, I distance myself, I play my music and try to calm myself down because I don't want to do something that I'm not gonna like the effects of it. So I kind of I'm gonna quiet down, I ain't gonna say too much, and I'm gonna most of the time it's a thought process. How am I gonna deal with this? Let me get myself together before I say something to this person or about this thing. But that's my way of dealing with things. And coping mechanisms can be good, some can be bad, but at some point we really have to deal with those issues, because if not, we just piling on top of them, and at some point that coping mechanism ain't gonna work because you just gonna explode, and when you explode, it ain't gonna be good.
And I agree, and I'm smiling because I'm like, Lord, this is my tribe. Because that's the same way that I deal with things. I would listen to my music. or I would sit back and I would get quiet and they call it, I would shut down. I don't shut down, and sometimes I do shut down.
Yeah.
But it's good that I shut down, because if I don't,
so I can reboot.
yeah, if I don't shut down, I'm gonna lash out and I'm gonna let it go. And I ain't gonna even tell you it's always good. I'm gonna say what I gotta say, and I would come back and apologize to you as to how I said it. But what I said is what I meant.
Yeah.
But I don't like people just don't misuse, don't mistreat me, or don't bring your frustration to me because you frustrated someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just zero tolerance for me. Hey, it is what it is. That's gonna happen. I'm working on it. I will listen to it. I mean, too.
I'm working on it too.
But I mean, just because I used to always, they used to like, oh, she the long hair. Look, I always say, don't let the long hair fool you. Because I would put this hair up in a ponytail, and my sister said she would be mean as a wet hen. I'm better than I used to be, because I used to not tolerate zero. I never fought, but I didn't just let you because I was quiet, and people have that issue. Just because you're quiet, they think that they can push over or run over you. But it's not like that. I'm quiet and I stay to myself, but I don't allow you just to treat me how you feel you need to treat me. Don't say to me what you want to say, and don't disrespect me for any reason. I'm not going to disrespect you or come and violate you in any way unless you do something to me. And still, I'm not going to fight. I do have...
I say you ain't gonna fight.
Well,
I
try not to fight because I'm not gonna let you push over me. But I do have this mouth that I will, and it's getting better. I'm working on it. It's getting better. I ain't gonna cuss you out, but I say enough words to make you feel like a cuss. But we working on it. But I'm like, just don't push people buttons, because you never know. And I try to tell everybody, no matter what you're going on, don't bring your frustration in a workplace or something like that. What you did before you got here has nothing to do with the people that's inside that building. So if you frustrated or you're angry or someone has made you feel or ill feeling, don't bring it to nobody else. Don't let that pressure come out on you. Learn how to divide that stuff up, okay?
Compartmentalize.
That's it. Compartmentalize your frustration. Don't bring your frustrations to me. If I didn't have anything to do with it, don't bring it to me. And if I did, come to me with respect and dignity, and we can talk about it as an adult. But if you want to come to me with raising your voice, I'm gonna sit there and listen to you. First of all, if you raise your voice too many times or too much, I'm gonna hey, we're gonna have to handle this a different way. Because me, I'm gonna first walk out. Because I'm not going to do anything that's going to cause harm or danger to me. I'm going to first walk away from you. Now, if you come behind me, that means you came looking for trouble. And I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So,
Mechanism.
it's put it in there.
Put it in the book.
So, guys, you know what? I think we're going to end part 1 right here. I think we have gave y'all an earful. But you know what? Part 2 gonna be good. Part 1 was good, and like I said, this is real talk. We are real people living in a real world with real environments, with the environment of being real. So we're not faking with you. This is what really happens and what really goes on. Stuff. Yeah, but I'm just gonna say we don't come, and when we call it real talk in depth, that's exactly what it is. We're not gonna fake with you and say we're not doing anything, because we're not perfect people. We're striving to be perfect, but nobody is perfect. So, I mean, even though we're still growing, we talk about God, we love God, yes, we do. But, I mean, just because of what we're saying here, you can't judge anybody. That's not for you to do, and that's not for us to do, and we don't judge people. So, I mean, we have to handle each situation accordingly, and we try to handle it as professional as we can, but, I mean, we're not going to let you walk over us while we're being professional. Anything else?
Nope. Shayla closes out.
All right, y'all. Make sure y'all go on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and all other social media platforms. And we'll see y'all next week.
So don't forget to join us next week for part 2. Enjoy your weekend.
See you guys later.
Bye.